Hi, this is Michonne with my Angel Baby Project, and today I'm going to show you how to make the cocoon. I know there's been a lot of questions on how to make this. So I want to show you what comes in the kit first of all. There comes the pillow. So this right here is the pillow piece right here. There's two of those, and then there's the two pillow insert pieces. And in the kit there should be 8 pieces of ribbon. If there isn't, then please let us know and we'll get you some more ribbon. There's the kit bag that has all of the kit pieces in, and then there should be this piece right here that is the blanket, and then the outside of the cocoon there'll be 1 piece of the satin and 1 piece of the fleece. There should be a poem with that, and then we have the final bag that the final cocoon goes inside the bag. Okay, first off we're going to start off with a pillow since that's the easiest part to start with. We're going to lay these 2 pieces together. Start at one end. We're going to back stitch. Sew all the way around. Okay, when you get to this end, you can do another back stitch, then come off, and then clip your threads. Okay, the next step is you're going to turn this inside out. I found the easiest way to insert these pillows, I use just a long ruler, kind of fold this over, and then insert. Kind of hold these ends and then poke the rest of them the way through. And then you kind of use that ruler to flatten them down inside, and if you need to, kind of move it around. Once you're done with that part, all you need to do is finish off these edges. If you have a serger, you can serge the edge. If you don't, what I do is go ahead and set this on a zigzag stitch. And you can kind of zigzag the edge of this down just to close it up. Really easy. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is the blanket part. So we're going to unfold the blanket. We're going to pin the ribbon in place pretty close to that top fold, maybe just a little bit lower. I'll pin this one side. Let this hang down that center. Pin this other side. Make sure this comes down the center because you don't want to get this caught into the seam. Then you're going to fold this over the top. Place this under the sewing machine. Remove that pin. You're going to do a back stitch. I actually like to do it a couple of times just to make sure that that ribbon is held in place, and then sew to the very bottom. Do a back stitch at that end. Lift that off, keep your threads, flip it over, do the same thing on this side, remove the pin. Okay, once you get both of these sides sewn, then you're going to turn this inside out. Okay, once you have this turned inside out, we're going to set this aside, and then we're going to start on the main part of the cocoon. So with that said, we're going to make sure that these are right sides together. We're going to do this little part right here. So set this down. You're going to do about 1/4 of an inch seam. Do back stitch. Go all the way up here and do back stitch. And then place your fleece piece on there next. Do the same thing on that fleece piece. Back stitch. And then off and clip your threads. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to place this ribbon over here on this side. This will be the right side of the fabric. I'm going to pin this one in place right here close to this end, but not too close, because you're going to be sewing a seam right down here. Then we're going to place this next one close to this end and pin it in place. The way And then we're going to place this blanket right here in the center. We're going to pin this one in place. Okay, after you've placed these all things in place and pinned them down, now you're going to place this fleece lining on top of it with right sides together. And if you need to go ahead and pin these in place, go ahead and do that. But I would make sure that these seams are facing opposite direction. It'll lay a lot flatter. I don't know if you can see that in the video. So lay these in the opposite direction. And then I would match up the corners and pin these together in the corners. Okay, I've pinned all the way around this side, but I've left this open a little bit because I'm going to actually sew this down first. Just stitch this in place. And you don't need to back stitch because we are going to be sewing this down later. And then clip your threads. Now you can go ahead and sew this lining together. We're going to start right here, but where that blanket is, we're going to keep that as our opening. So go ahead and put your pressed foot down. Do a back stitch right here. You're going to do a 1/4 of an inch seam all the way around. Okay, as we go up here, we're going to go around this curve. It might be a little tricky, sewing around this curve. Just go a little bit slower when we're up and around this curve. But it helps to have all these pins in place. Okay, once you come down to right here where this ribbon is, I'm going to come right down to here to this corner. And then when you turn, I want you to go over this ribbon a few times and then come down to this other ribbon and do the same thing. So we want to make sure that these ribbons do not come out when they get tied. And then go ahead and turn that corner, and then also make sure that this ribbon does not get caught into that seam. And then stop right there where that blanket is and do back stitch. Before turning this right side out, we're going to go ahead and clip the corners so it lies down a little bit better. When you're clipping corners, just make sure that you don't clip the seam or any of the stitching because you might create a little hole. So we're going to go around clipping all these corners, and then also in this curve right here, you might want to do a few little clips inside this curve. And that will help it lay down a little flatter too. So go ahead and then clip inside this curve. If you have pinking shears by chance, you could also use the pinking shears right through this curved area. And that makes it go a lot easier too. And then it'll help lay it down flat. Right, now that we've clipped the curves, cut the corners, we're going to go ahead and turn this whole thing inside out. So we've got our blanket right there. You need to put your hands up in there, poke out all the little corners. Okay, once you've got all of this turned inside out, we're going to fold this little section over. I kind of recommend pinning this down a little bit, because the next part that you're going to do is you're going to top stitch all the way around this whole thing, and it's also going to enclose this blanket in and do one final stitching. So we're going to go ahead and start on this end, and you don't need to back stitch as you top stitch around. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to come right over the top. Might be kind of thick going over the top of this part, but this just cuts out on one of the parts, so it just makes it easier. So the last step is putting all of the rest of the ribbons on. So what I like to do, I like to put this pillow in place first before I line up where these other ribbons go, because if you don't have this pillow in place, if you fold this up, the ribbon is going to go and it's not going to match up where it needs to match up. So put the pillow in place. That's where the baby's going to lay on. And then fold this blanket up. I like to use a friction pen because in case we need to erase it. And then go right over here, just put a little dot to mark where that ribbon is going to go. Same with over here on this other side. And then while you're there, you may as well take this folded over, fold this over, and then right here you can put a little mark. That's where the outside ribbons are going to go. And you want to kind of fold this up just a little bit snug, because you don't want to have those ribbons clear over in here. You want to make sure they're plenty over there so this can be folded up snug. The best way that we found to sew these ribbon on is to actually fold them over just a little bit and then pin one on by one at a time. So we're just barely going to fold that one over, pin it on, fold that one over, pin that one in place. And then I'm going to go directly over to this side and do the same thing. It just makes it so where the ribbon hopefully will not fray on that end, and it'll stay on there a lot better by folding it over. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do what I call continuous sewing. Got this idea from one of my ambassadors, Kathy. We're going to do this a few times to make it stable. So go to that one, go immediately over to this one, take the pin out, go over it a few times. Then what I would do is we're going to flip this over. Let's go directly over to this one. Actually, it doesn't matter which one you go to. Silver that one a few times. Just saves a little bit of time. Make sure there's no ribbons underneath. And then go up to this one. Silver that one a few times. Okay, go back over and then clip all of your threads off of here. And then I'm going to show you how all of this folds together. Fold these back together. I'm going to show you how that's done. We're going to put the pillow inside. And then you're going to fold the blanket up. We're going to tie one side, because you'll need to tie these back up to put them into the final bag. Tie it in a cute little bow. Tie this side. And then fold over the one side and the other. A little bow. Okay, and there you go. You've got your finished cocoon, and we make these in 5 different sizes. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Thanks.